Are you ready to make more money doing what you love this year? Well, the Dream Bigger Mastermind is for you. We're talking real results like going from $2,000 months to $8,000 months, landing promotions to C-suite roles, working with dream clients, and so much more. Doors are now officially open and spaces are limited. We're starting February 25th, so apply today, and let's make 2025 your most abundant and aligned year yet. Link in the show notes. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Breathe More. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I wanted today's episode to share with you how I work with clients, but not just how I work with them, but I want to use my own personal life experience growing up, everything that I've navigated through to be an example and proof to your mind that you can have whatever type of life you desire, that you can have a different reality. And it doesn't matter what you experienced as a child or what you were told, what you can do and what you can't do. Because a lot of times I feel like we see people that maybe we look up to, or, with social media, like people tend to just post the highlight reel and we feel like it's so much easier for them. We feel like they've never had to go through a struggle or whatever story we're telling ourselves. And so I thought it might be helpful to share more personal stuff that I've gone through and overcome. And then also the techniques that I use for myself that help me to get to this place, and also that now I use with my clients. So if you're new to my world, I grew up in Napa, California, and I'm the oldest daughter of Mexican-American immigrants. My parents immigrated in, I guess it would be the late 80s, because I was born in 1980 in Napa, California, from a small town in Mexico. And even at that time, my dad really struggled with alcoholism. I remember my mom telling me, just like how difficult it was to immigrate to this country, to not knowing the language, to not having community. My parents, or my dad's family, was in Napa. So like my grandparents were there and some of my aunts and uncles, but really my mom was all alone. And then, navigating my dad's struggles with addiction was really hard. And then she had me. And then after that, they ended up having 3 more daughters. And so being the oldest of 3 of us, well, there's 4 of us total, of 3 younger girls, and my mom being overwhelmed and just needing support because my dad was always working, it really forced me to grow up quickly. I have a very, I feel like, typical experience as a first generation in this country, the eldest daughter, where, we're made to grow up real quick, where even as children, we're made to be the translators. I remember my mom giving me the phone whenever she would have the doctor's office calling to either get results or whatever they needed to communicate to her. And I was a child, like I don't know, maybe I was 8 years old, 9 years old, maybe a little bit older. I had no idea what they were saying either. Like, okay, I spoke English, but I didn't know what a mammogram was, or I didn't know, their stuff. And it was such a huge responsibility to have that role, to also be kind of like the parent of my own parents, right? And to have such a big personality that I have, in the sense where, although I grew up in an environment where there were a lot of rules, my parents were really strict, there was a lot of fear-based disciplinary taking action. We did get hit, we got in trouble. I always pushed back, and not to like be an asshole or to be a difficult kid, but I pushed back when I felt like things were not right or fair. And when my own boundaries or my desires were not being acknowledged or honored, which, by the way, was all the time. So I could not wait until I left my house for college. But even getting to that point of going to college and being the first in my family to go to college was not easy. I didn't have anyone guiding me. I didn't know what SAT scores were. It wasn't until I had to take it I didn't know what the process is that, you need to do extracurricular activities to be a more ideal college candidate. Like none of that was explained to me. And I don't blame my parents. I mean, they didn't go through it. They don't know how you're supposed to do things in this country, but not even my counselors at school. Yet along the way, I didn't let that stop me. Like just because I didn't know what SAT score was or the test was, and I got a really low one, not even knowing what's high, what's low. How do you do better in this? And also being told even by counselors at the time when I said, I want to go to UC Berkeley, I want to go to this school, they're like, you're not going to get accepted because on paper you don't have what they are looking for, which is high test scores. I mean, I had straight A's. I had more than a 4.0, but in terms of, the test scores or again, extracurricular activities, because I had to work. I had a part-time job where every day after school, I would go work at this amazing children's bookstore. And I had the most incredible boss. So grateful for her. But anyways, so even with all of those, I don't know how to do it. People are telling me, don't apply. My parents are telling me, just stay home, go to community college, stay here where we can help you. Help me how? I'm not quite sure. But I didn't let that stop me because I had this burning fire and deep inner knowing that I needed to go out in the world and experience more of life than what I was experiencing in Napa. And I just felt so trapped there and suffocating. And I felt like even though I still was my authentic self, there were a lot of times I was made to feel like that wasn't right. And so that was really lonely, having a different opinion, having different desires, just having dreams as a female of challenging the patriarchy, of challenging like my Mexican culture, challenging the Catholic Church. Like all of that was viewed as a threat with my mom, my community. And so it wasn't welcomed. And then from there, I did go to college. I freaking loved it. I was a big nerd. I didn't do the stuff that people tend to do. I was still basically the same me. Like I went to school, I got good grades, I did my homework, and then also I worked like right away. I had a part-time job because I needed to support myself through college. And with that again, while I was in college, like very little guidance. I didn't really know how to navigate being in college. I didn't know the process of joining a sorority, not that I want to, or anything else. And so much of my life, I have had to figure things out. And that was one of the biggest resentments that I've overcome, where I felt like it wasn't fair. Like we were being told, oh, all of this is equal, or like everybody, the American dream, right? Like just work hard and you're able to get whatever it is that you want. Yeah, in a certain point, yes. And this point of this podcast is to show you that that can be true. But I also don't want to ignore the fact that other people are starting out with so much more advantages and head starts and support, financial support, guidance. Like it felt like there's always been this secret world that I wasn't included in, but I wanted to be a part of. Because I am someone who's ambitious, because I am someone who's intelligent and I want to learn more. And I want to just experience a very expansive, full life. Yet I kept feeling like I didn't know what to do, but that was not going to stop me. Then from there, I moved to LA and I didn't really have a plan. I had been working in publicity. And so I came across a post to work as an assistant to a publicist in LA for Spanish language music. And I was really into music and still am. And so I ended up like getting that job and I hated it. Like I moved to LA, but I also wanted to pursue TV hosting. That was like my big dream when I was a teenager. For those of you who used to watch Onda Max on Univision, oh my gosh, I loved that show. The host, Leslie Ann Machado, she was incredible. I felt like she had a dream job where they would just, her and Carlos Ponce would go and like do super fun stuff and have adventures. And they were on TV and I'm assuming getting paid. I'm like, I want to do that. So I dabbled in that. Like when I was actually in college, I got a hosting job where it was for music and in Spanish. It was for TV Azteca at the time, and it was super fun. And I just wanted to continue that in LA. And so I pursued that, and it just felt really hard. And started to see kind of like the dark side of Hollywood. And again, not willing to do things that just weren't aligned with my values. I feel like I make things kind of difficult for myself because I have morals and I have values. And this is not to throw shade on anyone who's just path of least resistance, whatever I have to do to get the job, I'm going to do it. For me, I have to live with myself. And if it feels like I'm not honoring or respecting myself, I'm not going to do that. So in Hollywood, there's a lot of blurred lines. And so, yeah, I kind of let that go, but then I found a ton of success as a commercial actress. And I got into it just as a suggestion from someone. And it was easy and fun. And it fed that desire to be on set and be on TV. And it was really cool. And that, again, was such a blessing where it's not easy. Like you get rejected every single day. I would audition literally like in the heyday. It was every day, multiple times a day, where I would have, I don't know, like 20 auditions a month or even more. And that was considered a lot. Plus, there were callbacks I was going to. And most of those times I was told no or not even given a response. I would go out hoping for the best and then not get the job. And that was such an exercise of resilience and self-trust and not giving up, where I would have people, like my parents would tell me, okay, so when are you getting a real job? Like, what do you mean you're going to do this? You're going to do this for the rest of your life? Like, what are you going to do when you're older? And my response was like, there's always like old people in commercials too. So yeah, I had to learn to, no matter what was being said, I worked with directors who were incredible, and I worked with really famous directors who were terrible human beings, asshole, where they wanted to put you down. And what was interesting that I realized was I'm not afraid of bullies. And in part is because my dad was a bully when I was growing up with his alcoholism. Like he was not nice, he was mean, he would yell. And I just developed this thick skin where it's almost like I could see right through, and I could see their own insecurities and fear. And I wasn't going to let that intimidate me. So that served me whenever I had really difficult clients and directors trying to, I don't know, make me break and not breaking me. Ended up doing a great job. Was really grateful for that, for my younger self, for navigating that and having that skill now to not easily be intimidated. So along my career in acting, I remember when I first moved to LA, like I just had this attitude that whatever intention I set for myself, I would achieve. And I had so much evidence of that. Sometimes it would be easy, sometimes it wouldn't be, sometimes there was a lot of efforting, but that was my vibration, right? Anything I want, I can get. And along the years, that confidence of just feeling like I'm always going to get what I want wavered a bit. Then that's when I was struggling with some self-doubt, where I started to compare myself, where I started to fall into victim mode and think it's not fair. Why is it easier for other people? Why is it always so much harder? And I recognized, okay, something's going on. Like this isn't supporting me. I need to look at this. Also, I was learning how our experiences when we're younger, whether it's a big trauma, little trauma, it doesn't matter. Just any moment that you didn't feel unsafe, that you didn't feel loved, that you didn't feel supported, seen, heard, that's going to leave an impact unless we address it. And so I started doing therapy. I did intensive short-term dynamic psychotherapy. I was referred to an incredible therapist where she really has a gift. It wasn't about just talking. It was embodiment practices where she introduced me to trauma release exercises. that's during the time where I was also dabbling in the healing world. And so then I introduced her to breath work. And it was just amazing. Like so much awareness came through that, so many breakthroughs, so much healing. But then I needed more. Like I wanted then support in my career because I was feeling now disconnected from being an actress. What used to excite me, all the auditions, driving all around, now I was feeling resentful. And now I was getting upset when I wasn't getting the auditions. And, all this stuff, I was out of my power. I was, again, in victim mode. I was complaining. And it's all about frequency at the end of the day. And I want to share with you a specific example where it became really clear to me of how energy has a huge play in everything that we do in life. So I was also working in casting, which means that I was behind the scenes watching other actors audition for spots. I was working as a reader at times. And so I would be reading off camera for the person, for the actor. And it was fascinating just to see how some people, when they show up, when they step into the room, you immediately feel their energy, you see their light, and you don't forget them. And then there's other people that you don't even remember they were there. That was huge lesson for me. I already intuitively had an understanding of energy, but to witness it in practice. And it wasn't necessarily the best actor. It wasn't necessarily even the best personality. It was their energy that was magnetic, that was open, that was bright, that wasn't contracting or sending mixed messages. It was very clear. And so with me dabbling in the healing world and then the therapy and coming across breathwork and just falling in love with it, I was like, all right, I want to do this. I want to share this gift and let other people know how they can change their reality through breathwork. That's how I started. And then now this is my 10th year of holding space for people and guiding people. My work has definitely evolved. But what I have seen throughout and how it has evolved is using those practices of energy and incorporating deep healing into practical strategies. I just had a call with someone who was interested in being part of the Dream Bigger Mastermind. And they have a side hustle career right now or business. They have a 9-to-5 job, but their goal is to, in 6 months, like be full time. So as I was asking them, all right, first of all, this is what I see the biggest roadblocks for your business, like more into strategy. I think you're going to have to educate people on why they need your service. You need to really highlight how, paying for your service is actually saving them time and money. It's more enjoyable. Coming up with like outside the box, I came up with a quiz that would be super fun for new clients to take and to help her nurture clients. And she's like, yeah, the company that I work for, like they've all told us about that the majority of our job is to educate. I'm like, okay, well, why haven't you done that? And the reason why she told me is like, well, I'm really shy and I struggle with imposter syndrome and confidence and comparing myself to others. And, immediately I could tell like her energy was just contracted, right? She wasn't open. It was like, and physically as well, the way that she was seated. And so we dropped in to a quick healing energy connection. And so while we were doing that, I realized, and I voiced it to her that I saw her inner child feeling really scared of having people see her, scared of taking up space, scared of using her voice. Yet I wanted to provide a reframe for her inner child and let her know that there's also a big part of her within her who is brave, who has big ideas, who wants to help people, and who has already taken action to make this into reality. Like she had already at this point made $10,000 in her business last year. That's not nothing, right? And so there's also that part of her who's willing to do things even though they feel scary. and take consistent steps and all of that. The other thing that I reflected to her was, I feel like it would be helpful for you to change, to let go of the identity that you are a shy person. What else can be true? How else can you describe yourself? Because being shy is not helping you. And at the core of the shyness, I feel like there's this deep rooted fear and lack of safety, lack of support, and fear. And she agreed. She's like, there's been so many times growing up that I didn't feel safe, that I didn't feel comfortable, like using my voice, that it wasn't safe for me to be seen. So I wanted to share this example and my upbringing to show you that you can be given a strategy. Someone can tell you step by step what to do. You probably already know what you need to do. But there is something that continues to stop you from taking action or getting those results. And that's our unconscious mind. I am so grateful that when I started to do my breathwork circles 10 years ago, my clairvoyant gift developed. I had no idea what it was. I didn't know what being a clairvoyant was. I didn't know what being clairaudient was. None of the C's. And what I was receiving were messages that at the beginning I tried to ignore, and they were distracting. But the more I tried to ignore them, the louder the message came. So at this point, I just decided to start sharing, like speaking out loud as people were breathing, what I was hearing. And funny enough, after those classes, there would always be people come up to me and tell me, oh my gosh, that thing that you said, like I was thinking that at the moment, or I felt like you were in my mind, or that totally resonated with me. And then I realized, oh, I have this gift that when I tap into energy, I'm able to see people's core blocks. And I continued to do that with my group sessions, with my private clients, and the healing and the breakthroughs that they had were instantly life-changing, things that never had come up in their years of therapy. And so that is what makes my work different. And that's why I have the life that I have. Because I have been able to learn how to master my thoughts. And when my frequency and my energy is off, I do not waste any time to change it. This is not me bypassing emotions. This is me when I'm ready to shift out of it. I do the work to come back to my power, to come back to an energy of being open, of being sparkly, magnetic, of being connected with the abundance of the universe, which is infinite. A lot of times when people decide to work with me, they tell me, I just really like your energy. And so a big thing that we focus on in Dream Bigger Mastermind is working on your energy, is working on the healing so that you can feel safe going after and creating your dream life. I will help you identify when you're starting to self-sabotage. I will help you be accountable. I will help you do the deep healing work and help your younger selves, your inner parts, your inner teen, your inner child self, maybe your 20-year-old self, feel safe, have a different way of viewing things so that you can take different action and therefore get different results. I chose from a very young age to create a different reality for myself. I did not want the marriage that my mom had, even though I love my parents. I did not want to stay in Napa. I saw myself driving a BMW, and guess what? I'm driving a BMW right now. I saw myself traveling the world. I saw myself in this bigger life. And even though I was constantly told, you have no money, that's not for you, you can't do that. No, no, no. I always found a way. Some of my goals has taken longer. Some of my goals I've had to let go of. But the majority of them, I have manifested them. I have created them. And I'm not special. What I have done for me is what you can do for you. Obviously, it's going to look different because you have different intentions and goals and how you want to experience life differently. But I want to teach you how to do that for you. So if you're ready to embark on a journey for the next 6 months, I want to invite you to join Dream Bigger Mastermind. We are almost sold out. We have spots in the Tuesday group, which meets in the morning, like 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time. Hop in on your lunch call. That's what I have a couple of clients do in my current mastermind group. Let's go on this journey. I want you to have a different reality by, when would it be? August? When we would be done? Like, don't let another year go by. Seriously, the world is insane. Be in control of your life. Take charge. Feel empowered. Have tools to navigate the constant stresses that we are going to experience and we continue to experience. Don't let what's happening outside influence what you can do for yourself. I'm staying really clear and focused on what I'm creating this year, and I'm not letting noise distract me because that's the goal. Distraction and fear. Scarcity. None of that here. So if you want to be in a community where we're going to encourage you to keep dreaming, to go after your goals, where we're going to get creative with solving problems, where we're actually going to launch your business or your project or help you make more money, get that new job, I can't wait to welcome you. It's going to be so amazing, so inspiring, so expansive. So make sure you click on the show notes to apply. Hop on a call if you want more clarification on whether or not this program is for you. But I believe in you. I'm rooting for you. Don't give up. Even if things are feeling hard right now, things will change. This is only temporary. Your dream life is waiting for you. All you have to say is yes. All right, friend, I hope you found this inspiring. I hope you're going to take action towards your goals and your dreams. And we'll be back next week. Have a great one.